Hey guys, Darcy here, and today is a follow-up video on getting loud mixes. Let's jump into it. Alright, to start things off, I had recently done a video on getting loud mixes, showing a little bit of how to actually do it and the importance of gain staging. Now, I had some comments, some criticisms here and there, so I wanted to jump in on 3 specific topics here. But again, just to emphasize, the previous video, I'm gonna link it up here for you to watch, or up there, wherever. The thing that you should take away from that video is the importance and the demonstration of gain staging into limiters and seeing how that will stack up for a loud master later by having a loud mix up front. To try and set a level playing field for somebody who is newer to mixing, I want to try to articulate what gets a mix loud without showing anything technical. Now, in a mix, you're going to have instruments that are quite loud. Usually things like your drums, like your kick drum is going to be quite loud in terms of peak volume and produces quite a bit of perceived loudness to the ear. You're going to have instruments that are going to be much quieter in the mix, and you're going to have things like vocals, which tend to be much louder, but not super loud compared to a kick. They might be like a -15 or 16, maybe a -12, and your kick might be up to like a -9. When you're trying to get your mix balance, the primary instruments, whatever this song is pushing more forward, the range in between them, the closer that range is, the easier it's going to be to make that mix louder, because you're not going to have to squash a really loud kick at -3 and a vocal at -24 and try to, bring them together to make the mix louder. If you can find a way to gain stage them closer together that still gets the aesthetic sound that you want, you're going to get a much louder mix. And then instruments that are not as important can take a farther back seat in terms of volume and just find a place that works well. The first topic: do plugins matter? So I had a comment on this basically articulating that someone's belief is that really plugins make the difference, and that they were emphasizing, at least how I interpret it, that plugins mattered more than the gain staging. Now, I fundamentally disagree that they matter more. However, they do make a huge difference on the loudness of your track. There are many different techniques and tools, whether you're clipping or saturating or double limiting, whatever you're doing, that really will make the track loud. And one plugin versus another can really bring out differences in terms of loudness, but also the fidelity and the quality that you hear. However, fundamentally to all of that, the gain staging that you put into it will simply make a difference. It is going to be easier to use quality plugins on a really good balanced mix that is already loud to make it louder, if that is your goal, than to, take good plugins against a bad, unbalanced mix and then try and make it louder. Now, LUFS and Headroom. One comment that I had was, well, I have -3 dB or -6 dB headroom, and isn't that already loud? Your headroom is just your peak volume on the way out, but how loud that mix will be perceived won't necessarily line up with that. Now, I'm not going to articulate how LUFS work and all of that. There's lots of great videos on that, but LUFS is just a means of measuring perceived loudness from things like Spotify and Apple Music. And that measurement, the louder that measurement is really how you're going to determine if it's loud. When I do my mixing, I ensure that I actually have quite a bit of headroom, about -6 or -3 on the high end. And the reason I like to try to aim for -6 if I can is that as I do more things in my mix throughout the process, I just have more headroom in case for whatever reason it starts to peak a little bit louder and I don't clip. So I'm just giving myself extra room to ensure that I don't start going into the red. However, what you will see in my mixes is that I am sending a submix into a main out, and in that submix is where you see my headroom, but the main out is where I apply limiting to see how much limiting it can take before the mix starts to fall apart. And if it starts to fall apart, then I can go back and make adjustments based off of what I hear that is not working with that limiting. Now, I wanted to put a demonstration into this video so that it can help to maybe give you a bit of different perspective. A good balance will already start to feel like the track is more finished and polished, like a good demo mix that you would send off as a reference. And then when you start doing your mixing, it's going to be much easier to get everything to fall into place. To articulate this concept, I wanted to play 2 additional gain stages that basically met the same LUFS of loudness and the same, headroom in terms of my sub mix, with the exact same song as from the last video, but staged differently. So I'm going to play you the original from the last video, and then I'm going to play one where the melody is far more pushed up into the mix, and then I'm going to play one where the bass is more pushed up into the mix. So let's play these and take a look.
Went up on my waist, money on the table. I just want some sauce, ketchup for the mayo. Flew right overseas, baby, San Diego. Been up on my shit, baby, fuck a label. 100 kept it real, man, through all the years. Always tried to learn from the pioneers. Still didn't get the message, I should dry my ears. I can't wait till I shine when the drama finally clears, so I can get my focus on. I'm writing one of the dopest songs. This music's one of the closest phones I found while I've been holding on. And I never was just showing off, posing for the cameras. Fuck you in the glamorous, this real shit, I can handle this. I kill shit, fuck the championships. Never been a fan of this, off my dick and man a bitch. Watch the industry collapse, only blood, sweat and tears when I put this shit on wax.
Now that we've had a chance to listen to them, things that I really wanted to call out from this is when you listen to the bass, it's far louder in the mix, and it's contributing the majority of the actual loudness of the entire mix, which ends up making the whole song feel very dull. The hi-hats and the drums, I do have them staged down further, but the song feels duller. It makes you feel like you really want to push some high frequency EQ right away. And the vocals will obviously feel like they're drowning. Now, I obviously could mix and, sidechain my kick and duck some frequencies out and get the vocals to sit better. And if this is the desired effect that I want, the aesthetic of the song, then I'm in the right vein. But if it feels muddy to you, well, then a lot of this song, wherever it would go, would be impacted by that gain staging. And when you compare the melody focused version, what you'll notice is, yes, the melody is very strong, but the drums feel weaker, and therefore you would probably end up just pushing their volume up to make the song stronger. The track may start to clip, and it may not stand up very well when you look at your limiting to get those LUFS. Anyways, the idea of this is just try to give you some different perspective by hearing the same song staged 3 different ways so that it can really emphasize the point. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know that. If you didn't find it helpful, let me know that as well in the comments. And otherwise, have yourself a good day.